So we've been in the Maxilla spreader for about 6 weeks now, maybe 8, I don't know. Time flies. And we've been on a certain regimen as far as how often I'm supposed to tighten the Maxilla spreader, right? To remind you, the Maxilla spreader goes 1/4 of a millimeter every turn. So it goes nice and slow. But that being said, being a craniosacral therapist, being able to feel the body as far as I will always check her fascia of the thoracic outlet and her temporal fascia and the foramen magnum skull respiratory diaphragm before I tighten her. But you can use some basic general rules if you don't have that palpation ability, which is we didn't tighten while she was sick. She had a sickness for about a week and a half, so I didn't tighten until 2 weeks. I waited until she was symptom-free for a couple of days before I did the 1/4 of a millimeter turn at night. We always do it before night so then her body can just rest and move into that. She has the ability to swallow EPA, DHA. So the fish oil, we try to give her salmon. We idealize her diet as best as we can while also sending snacks for school. So I have her on Methyl B vitamins, which is the folic acid and methylized B12. We just have her in like a chewable for that for the nerve fiber. And then the EPA, DHA for the linings of the nerve, the fat that you're going to need. The body uses that for growth, ideal growth. If you have the resources, you're going to make a better house. Or like the 3 pigs. Don't try to make a spinal cord with the straw. Give your kid what they need. High protein, low glycemic, low inflammatory, and then supplement if you need to based on their compliance on a diet. So that's what we do. EPA, DHA, methyl B12, and folate as basics. And then the vitamin D. It's the winter time in the Northeast end. We've had tremendous amount of snow, so there wasn't a lot of sun. So I also have her on D and K2 drops. Fat soluble, neural protective, immune modulating ideas. So no tightening when they're sick. Give it a couple days when you look at them and they're perfect and they don't have that glassy eye look and they're not nose breathing, then proceed with the regimen. If you have them in a big soccer game or a big track race, I would wait. In our family, she goes to ballet 2 to 3 times a week, so I don't tighten her the day before ballet. Right? If she has ballet on a Tuesday, I'm not going to do it Monday night. I will do it after ballet. Give her the EPA, DHA, methyl B vitamins, lots of electrolyte fluids before bed. And then I will tighten it that Tuesday night, a few hours after ballet. Now, why? Because you're doing that, they do a lot of stretching, obviously, in ballet, long end range neural tension stretching. So why would you tighten the face, ask the spinal cord to adjust here and then pull here? It's rude. That's not going to give you spinal cord compliance. You can fight your reflexes or you can just know a few things. And I'm sorry if you didn't know these things and you tightened your kid every night. That's fine. Go see a professional craniosacral therapist. Get some unwinding for your kid just so that they don't set up these patterns that they did reflexively guarding at a time that there was a growth spurt, an intervention, an infection, a trauma, emotional trauma, stress. Anytime along the way in our development that we have any of those whiplashes and flinches, then you want to be able to rewind that sooner rather than later for their potential, for them not to have maybe what your genetics are, what your genetic potential is as a parent, what you can potentially pass on to them is doing your own shadow work and your own cleaning up to them and then send them to someone that can help them and or learn how to do it yourself. So where was I? Okay, yeah. So, and one time she fell, right? She fell on the stairs. She did a nice little whiplash on the stairs. So I waited a full week after that because we'll just call that a car accident. When you fall right to the thoracic spine, jarred right onto the stairs. The spine is going to stay in an emotional, physiologic shock, freeze mode, limbic amygdala driven, cortisol. So you don't go give your kid a whiplash and then, it's whatever night and we're supposed to tighten tonight and then just do it anyways. Like ideally, we wouldn't do that. So if you haven't started on this process, that's what I would recommend to you. Work with your orthodontist and let them know, okay, maybe we had an appointment on this day to have a checkup. Maybe we'll bump it out a little bit. So that gives you a couple more weeks there's no race, right? There's no race of forcing this at what cost potentially. Other kids might have no problem staying on the schedule, but the fact that my daughter's in ballet and she's also very tall, I'm going to pace myself based on my palpation skill and my frontal lobe understanding of what I've seen on the table and what I understand about growth and development and spinal cord reflexes. So when we didn't tighten, what I did and what you can do if you've had myofascial training or if you want to have myofascial training, before I also would tighten her, I would just quickly check and see if there was any shock or fascial tightness or kind of restrictions on her body. And for my daughter in particular, there was it was the right temporal. Yeah. And that one often was restricted on her. And I also would recommend if you know somebody that's having a baby, have them take pictures of their newborn, not the beautiful ones that are staged and buffed up, but take a picture of all the red spots. And I find it kind of interesting that this was where she was maybe sitting on my pelvis or something, because when she was born, this was red. She had a red spot here. So it's good to have that, take a picture and pay attention if you have the ability, if you have the training to pay attention to where she might be guarding, your child might be guarding before you tighten. If that went over your head, I might have rambled a bit right there, but point being, before you tighten the maxilla spreader, follow your schedule as best as you can, but give the body the reverence that it deserves. If it has a viral infection or sick, if they're mouth breathing for whatever reason, allergies, if they had a high sugar diet too, for a couple of days, maybe they were birthday party after birthday party, and you're like, we did not crush it this week with the diet. Don't just crank on it because it's the day of the schedule. Injuries, infections, bad diet, no sleep, stressful trauma at school or home, whatever they're dealing with, don't just make their central nervous system do another thing. Schedule. Just wait till they take a deep breath. And so the places that I noticed the most that our daughter tightened along this maxilla spreader process was the thoracic outlet, right along the ears, the respiratory diaphragm, and the sacrum. And I could just see her anyways. If you feel like your kid is walking kind of stiff, like their hips aren't flowing very well, just again, visit my website, find some of those people that are in the vetted list, take them and get some care, learn how to unwind them themselves, give them more time, let them sleep, and find your people to help them.